The idea of a British and Irish league here in the UK and Ireland is something that's been flirted by with rugby authorities for quite a while now. But in this video, I'm going to have a look at how could it possibly work, how would the league system work, which teams would be involved, and what would that mean for other sides. Also look at why this is possibly going to happen and the positives and the negatives of such a thing occurring. If you're new here, subscribe and leave a like and let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Let's get into it. So the current system here in the UK and Ireland is two domestic leagues. First of all, we have the Pro 14, which has teams from Wales, Ireland and Scotland, Italy and South Africa, all representing sides in this tournament. The league is divided into two conferences, Conference A and Conference B, and the following teams are in each conference. So in Conference A, we have Leinster, Ulster, Cheetahs, Glasgow Warriors, Dragons, Zebra and Ospreys. Then in the Guinness Pro 14 Conference B, we have Munster, Edinburgh, Scarlets, Connacht, Cardiff Blues, Benetton Treviso and the Southern Kings. England, on the other hand, have their own league. They have the Gallagher English Premiership, which has 12 teams who play each other home and away. The teams are Exeter Chiefs, Northampton Saints, Sale Sharks, Gloucester, Bristol Bears, Harlequins, Bath, Worcester Warriors, Wasps, London Irish, Leicester Tigers and Saracens. Let's take a look at the Pro 14 first of all. The Pro 14, as I mentioned before, hosts teams from Wales, Ireland, Scotland, Italy and South Africa. Two conferences are divided into 7 teams who battle out from October to May to try and make the playoffs to fight for the title. At the end, you have the playoffs and the winners will take part in a neutral venue to win the league. The most successful team, Leinster, are currently on top and are cruising towards that playoff position. One key element of this league is there is no relegation, with all teams pretty much having their league status secure. Compare this to the English Premiership, which does have a relegation, but we already know who's going to be relegated this season, of course. It is Saracens. So what is the big issue with the Pro 14 at the minute? Well, especially here in my country of Wales, lack of attendances is a big concern for all 4 regions. And what is the big reason for lack of attendances? Possibly boredom. The Pro 14 for sure is not an entertaining league, and this is reflected in the stand on a weekly basis. It feels like it is almost a given that Leinster will win the league every season, and the likes of Zebra and Southern Kings will certainly struggle. Does the casual rugby fan really want to head down to Rodney Parade on a cold, wet Friday night to see them take on Zebra? That is the big question. But first, let's go back in history. As a Welshman, I'm going to look at it from our perspective to give some context. Back in 2003-2004, we saw the first 5 regions created here in Wales to join in the Celtic League. Before that, you had Club Rugby, who played in the Welsh leagues, the likes of Neath, Pontypridd, Pontypool, just to name a few. The new regions were called Scarlets, and they were to represent Llanelli and the west of Wales. Ospreys to represent the Neath Swansea area. Cardiff Blues were created to represent the capital. The Dragons, or then known as the Newport Gwent Dragons, but now known as the Dragons, to represent Newport. And of course, the Celtic Warriors were created to represent Mid and the Powys area of Wales, but they later disbanded. These teams joined the Celtic League with 11 other teams from Ireland and Scotland. There is still a lot of tension between fans of regional rugby and club rugby. Many fans from Neath will not go watch Ospreys play. Many fans of Llanelli will not go watch Scarlets play, as they feel as if the game has changed too much. Only last September there were talks of a merger between the Scarlets and Ospreys as the Welsh Rugby Union look at ways to save money. That is a discussion for another day. The English Premiership, on the other hand, has one thing that the Pro 14 doesn't have, which is relegation and promotion. The bottom side will be relegated at the end of the season. That is Sarries, we know, because of points deduction. But a team from the Championship will come up, more than likely the likes of Newcastle Falcons. This creates an entertaining league with every team having something to fight for. If you're not going to make Europe, you may have a relegation battle on your hands. This is something that I would certainly introduce to British and Irish League, but more on that. So what is my proposition? My proposition is very simple: to create two divisions, Division 1 and Division 2. Division 1 would have the top teams in it. How do we determine what are the top teams? Well, if we were to take the current standings from the leagues, this is how they would look. So we'd take the top 6 from the Gallagher English Premiership, we'd take the top 3 from Conference A of the Pro 14, and the top 3 from Conference B of the Pro 14. There'd be 12 teams in each conference, which means 2 teams, unfortunately, have to miss out. And in my opinion, I'd get rid of the South African sides. In all honesty, they're a bit of a hassle to have in the competition, travelling all the way to South Africa to play against them. Although it can be a great day out, how many fans realistically will travel out there? It disturbs a lot of players, it disturbs a lot of schedules and everything like that. It's so much simpler to have our Northern Hemisphere rugby here, and the Southern Hemisphere can have theirs there. That is what I think. So in Division 1 currently, these are the teams that we would have. We would have these teams. So it'd be a split between the Pro 14 and the Gallagher Premiership teams. And these are the teams: Exeter, Leinster, Northampton Saints, Ulster, Sale Sharks, Glasgow, Gloucester, Munster, Bristol Bears, Edinburgh, Harlequins and Scarlets would all be in Division 1. They'd each play each other home and away, and then that would determine the outcome. But what would happen if you finished bottom of Division 1? Well, the reality is you'd be relegated, and I think that is something that the Pro 14 for sure misses out on, and I think that would add a lot of excitement to this competition. So the bottom 2 teams would automatically be relegated from this league. So if it's to finish like it is here on my laptop, Harlequins and Scarlets would be relegated. In Division 2 then, we have the following teams. We've got Bath, Dragons, Worcester Warriors, Zebra, Wasps, Ospreys, London Irish, Connacht, Leicester Tigers, Cardiff Blues, Saracens and Benetton Treviso. Now what would happen if, let's say, Bath won the opening title? They would then go up automatically to the Division 1, while the teams such as the 2nd place team, the 3rd place team, the 4th place team and the 5th place team would all have a playoff. So they'd play, 2 teams would play against each other in one semi-final, 2 in the others, and then the winners of them would meet in the final. The winner of that goes up automatically. This then means that every team has pretty much something to fight for every single season, where in Division 1 maybe the top 2 teams or top 3 teams qualify for the Champions Cup, and maybe the 2 teams who have made up the top 5 also qualify for the Challenge Cup. The only question then is, of course, the importance of the Challenge Cup, because these teams only really face each other in a European competition. Does that then get rid of the value and the importance of a European competition? That's the big question. That's what rugby and rugby governments and authorities will have to have a look at. The big talking point also is CVC. Would CVC back something like this? They seem very interested in getting South Africa involved in everything they can. South Africa, 2 teams in the Pro 14 currently, and talks of them, of course, joining the Six Nations. I've made a video on that, link in the description, do go and check that out. This is just my idea, my proposition, to have 2 teams, 2 divisions, with 2 teams. I just think it's a lot more interesting to have Dragons against Leicester Tigers than Dragons against Zebra, or to have Leinster against Bath or Bristol. I think that's an enticing game, rather than having Leinster against Southern Kings, for instance. I just think it makes the game more interesting, gets more people involved. Teams are fighting for something with promotion and relegation, which they're not currently fighting for in the Pro 14. It would make it so much more interesting. But certainly let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Let me know, would you back something like this, or do you think the current system works? Let me know. I want to hear your opinion. Always give a like on the video and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.